DragonFaether, and welcome back to our channel. On today's episode, I'm gonna show you guys how to make a book. Are you excited? I'm so excited. So if you guys do not know, one of my favorite hobbies in my life is to actually create books. So I'm gonna show you guys how to create your own book of shadows, your own journal or diary, whatever have you, or whatever you want it to be. But I'm gonna teach you how to manifest your own little book here. So I tried to do this with all the sorts of materials that you'd find around your house. Any sort of thing like that, and yeah, so you don't need a sewing machine for this, so you can do this no matter what type of sewing level you have, but you can do this. I believe in you guys. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys how to make a book of shadows because it is so important as a witch, especially a witch, kind of just as a human honestly, to document your experiences in this world. But more so as a witch, it's important to document your magical experiences because something that you experience now that may seem small or insignificant may seem, you know, super magical and may be so extremely important later down the line in your life, and you're not going to know unless you write it down. So you can use this for anything. You can use this to create, you know, a book of shadows. You can make a dream journal. You can make a regular journal. You can make a place to keep your, you know, notes. You can do daily entries, literally anything that you want to do. I'm going to show you guys how to make a book so you can do that. So this here is my personal book of shadows, and I absolutely love it, and I literally manifested it for the magical use, and for the documentation of my personal experience along my particular path, along my magical journeys, and I just wanted a place to really keep all that together. And I didn't really realize the importance of having a book of shadows as a witch, especially because it's important to document your knowledge and to document your practice so you can see how you grow and you can see, you know, your progress through the years and through your practice, because it's a practice and it's not just going to happen like that. It's going to take time in order to really kind of understand these principles of being a witch. And so I found that the best way to do this is to make your own book. And I know that sometimes that we don't have the ability to buy a fancy book of shadows or some crazy, you know, grimoire or whatever, but I'm going to show you guys how to make your own so you don't have to. And you know, when you make your own book of shadows, or when you make your own book really, you manifest it for the particular intention of whatever you're trying to create. So you can create anything, and I'm going to show you how to create this little book of shadows here. So if you guys are interested in how to make this little tiny book here, and how to make one for yourself, for whatever you so desire, then please keep watching and stay tuned. Okay, so the things you'll need is some paper, some scissors, some wire cutters, needle nose pliers. You'll need a glue gun and some sort of material to make your cover out of, a plastic bag, and then you'll need some paintbrushes and a lot of paint. And you are also going to need a thimble, some buttons, some thread, a needle, and some metal rings for adding the charm if you so choose to do so on your book. Okay, so for the page sizes, you are going to want to create this size for your book of shadows or your journal. And how to do this, you're going to start with a blank piece of white computer paper, and then you're going to fold it in half, hot dog style, because we're cool kids. And then you're going to rip it or cut it in half. I decide to rip it in half just because that's kind of what always works for me. I'm more accurate that way. But then you're just going to take those pieces of paper and fold them in half and crease along the center so you have your page all ready to go. So after you have 3 of these created, you're going to want to put them together to make the page bundle that you will be stitching in one at a time. Now for me in particular, and whenever I create my own books, I always do 9 bundles of 3 pages. So each little bundle has like 6 pages and then like 12 front and back, but 9 bundles of 3 worked the best for me and tends to be a pretty decent amount for a book size. So for tea dyeing the pages, you're going to want to separate them individually and stack them in there, and try and get them as, you know, spread out as possible, because you want to make sure that each one can get tea dyed evenly and can get tea dyed equally. So after you have all of your pages inside of your bag, you're going to want to pour some tea in there, and in hindsight I should have used more tea. I definitely recommend using more tea, and if you guys do not want to dye in a plastic bag, or, you know, tea dye in a plastic bag, mason jars work just as well. So you can also use mason jars if you don't want to use a bag. So if you're going to use the bag, just be a little careful of how hot your tea is, because you don't want to actually melt the plastic. It's just a disaster, so just don't do that. And just make sure that all the pages are covered in the tea, and you can go through them to make sure that each one is completely saturated, so when you leave it overnight, it will not leave any white spots or any parts of the pages that don't get tea dyed, because you want it to be as dark, as tea dyed, as authentic, old, kind of magical looking as you can possibly get it. So while that is tea dyeing overnight, you're going to want to cut out the cover for your book. Now, I always have regular, tea dyed pages, pretty much always, because I make books so often, but you're going to want to line up the size of your pages with the size of your material and cut accordingly. I usually always eyeball this. There's really no particular measurements that I use, I just eyeball it and do whatever feels right. So then after you have your cover cut out, take all of your pages and make sure that they all fit in there. And if they don't, go ahead and recut another one out, and if they do, then you're good to go, and you can move on to painting your cover. Now, when you want to paint your cover, you can choose whatever colors you want. I decided to use black, white, green, and blue, and mix them accordingly, because these are what I consider my soul colors, colors that I really resonate with, and the colors of my aura. So I really wanted to make the color of my book those colors, because it just seemed to work the best. So just paint your cover whatever colors you want and leave it out to dry when you're done, or you can use a blow dryer, it's optional. And then a day later, you're going to want to dump out your tea from the bag, and then take out your pages and put them on some sort of towel to dry. Now, you're not going to let them dry here they can't dry on the towel all stacked up, but you're going to do this to take out the excess moisture, so when you lay them out to dry, they will be all ready to go. Now, just place your pages wherever you want to have them dry, or you could use a blow dryer to dry them faster. I wanted them to charge with all of my books to kind of give it that extra magical, knowledgeable feel. So after your pages are dry and your cover is fully painted, now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stitch in your pages. So line up the first little bundle of pages where you want it, like right where you want your cover to be, eyeball it, make sure that you got it where you want it, and then go ahead and stitch it in. And now you're going to want to just kind of fill the rest of the book with whatever amount of pages that you'd want to fill them with. Like I said, I used 9 bundles of 3, and when you start the stitching, you're going to want to start from the inside of the book and go outwards, and just kind of repeat this process, weaving in and out from the back to the front of the book until your page is already completely stitched in. And do not forget to make sure that your pages are staying lined up, because you don't want to have uneven pages, because that would look really bad and be really annoying. And the first time I ever made a book like this, I really fucked it up. So just want to let you guys know that it's probably a good idea to make sure that your pages stay where they're supposed to. So this is just kind of like me showing you guys how I actually stitch in my pages, just so you guys know and you guys can have a visual of how it kind of looks. There's really not much to it, it's just a little time consuming to do hand sewing, but hey, it's cool, and it's a great way to put your intentions into the book that you're making. I highly recommend using a thimble if you do not want to, lose your thumb. Basically, I've stitched books without using a thimble, and my thumb was a bloody mess. So, moving on. Now, when you get to the top, you're going to want to finish a stitch by poking through the inside to the inside of your book. Then at the last stitch, you're going to want to stick the needle underneath it and pull it till it, is tight. And then you're going to go back under that in that little cross-stitched area and make a loop, and then you're going to want to stick the needle through the loop to create your knot. And you're going to want to do this as many times as you feel comfortable. Sometimes I do it 3 times, but this time I decided to only do it twice, just kind of double knotting it, I guess. But this is the way that I tie off my needle, this is the way that I tie off my thread, and has worked very, very well for my books. And then you're just gonna cut off the excess and move on. So now, once you have all of your pages stitched in, you're gonna want to cut the cover to size. So you're just gonna basically cut off the excess material that you no longer need, and make sure that the size of the book is the size that you want, and it fits, and it works, and it's flush, and you're all happy and good to go. So now that your cover is all ready to go, and is all nice and cut to size, now you're gonna want to either paint the cover, whatever you want to do, or maybe you want to not paint the cover, or maybe you want to do something
something else. I don't know what you want to do with your life, but figure it out. I can't tell you what to do. Anyway, guys, we're gonna move on to creating the pockets. Now, this is completely optional, but I absolutely love how it turned out. So for the first inside little pocket, you're gonna want to cut off a triangle from the corner of the fabric that you used for the cover. And make sure that it fits and cut it to size, and just make sure that it kind of is matching up with the corners of your books and it doesn't overlap with anything and it doesn't have any frayed edges, and just cut it and make it as straight and as nice and as neat as you possibly can so you have a nice little inner pocket. Now for the other two pockets, I just kind of like eyeballed it, so here I'm just kind of sketching out how much room I have in order to make the pocket so it fits in the back of the book, and just kind of like building the template or the pattern for the pocket, as you can see here. It was a very, very small one and kind of came out a little rough, but it worked really well and I really like how it turned out. So if you want to add a pocket, just, you know, sketch out your pattern and however you want, and make sure it folds up together and that it works and that it's all nice and how you want it, and make sure that it fits in the back of your book, and then close it and see if it can close and see if it works and see if it's all nice and flush. So I decided to make two different pockets. This is the other one that I decided to make, and I absolutely love how they both turned out. They're super adorable, and this pocket was intended for like a little magical vial of something awesome, or some sort of magical potion, I suppose. So once you have that, just make sure it all fits in the back of your book, and it fits together, and you can glue it together and all of that jazz. So now moving on, we're gonna go ahead and stitch the buttons on. So first you're gonna wanna, you know, line up where you want your buttons to be, and then you're gonna go ahead and cut the little slits in there for your buttonholes. If you're gonna do more than one button, I recommend starting with the middle and going out, unless you're gonna do two buttons on the top and bottom corner. Now it really depends on how many buttons you want to create, but I wanted to do 3 because 3 is a magical number, and I don't know, I was feeling 3 buttons, guys. It kind of worked out really, really well. So you're just going to want to stitch in the button however you want, although I recommend doing 2 stitches on the side, 2 stitches in the cross center of the button, and then 2 stitches on the other sides to where you look like this. You want your button stitches to look like this. Very easy, very simple. And when you're done, you're just going to go ahead and tie your button, or tie the thread of your button the same way you did for your pages. So you're going to want to stick it underneath the other pieces of thread, create a loop, go through the loop, and there's your knot. And I decided to do twice on this one as well, but you can do more depending on, you know, whatever you're going for. It really doesn't matter. But for me, I decided to do the twice. Kind of had some difficulties, but there we go, we got it. So here's one button on here. So once you have one button on there, you're going to want to go ahead and cut out the other 2 slits and attach the other 2 buttons. And now when it's done, you're going to have some excess material probably, and you're just going to want to cut that off. So this part is really just kind of like to cut off that little extra bits, those little extra bits that are flying here. That makes it look a little scrappy, but if you just cut it off and make it flesh, it will look so much better and infinitely much awesomer. Don't you guys love my language? I love my language. So these are my pockets after I painted them. You're going to want to paint them before you attach them to your book, because it's going to be very hard to paint them once they are attached to your book. So go ahead and paint them prior and let them dry. Let them dry for however long they need to, and make sure again that they all fold up nice and neatly on each other. And you can paint them and create them however you would like to. So this first one here, I actually stitched together, but I'm not going to show you how I stitched it together because I later found out with the other pocket that it is so much easier to hot glue it into your book. So these are the 2 pockets that I have already made that are ready to go. As you can see, this one is stitched together, which I have found that, as you can see now, gluing them together worked much better, was much more time efficient, did not hurt my thumbs and fingers as much, and worked much nicer. It looks nicer too. So then you're going to attach your side pocket by just gluing the 2 corners on the outside of the book, and make sure that they stay, hold them down, make sure it works, and then stick your hand in there to make sure it works too. With your last pockets, you're just going to want to glue the side that would be touching the book, and then press them down, make sure it's all nice and flush and that it works in there, and stick something in there if you want to keep something in there. I put a worry doll in there because whenever I worry, I like to tell my worry dolls all of my problems, because that's how it goes. So then you're going to want to take your last pocket and glue it in wherever you want, wherever it works best for you, and just kind of whatever you want, you know? It's up to you, man. And then I decided to see if it worked, so I put a little mermaid treasure jar, which is available in my Etsy store in there, and it worked out pretty well. So now we're going to add our charms. You're going to need a needle, and you're going to stick that through wherever you want your charm to go, and then you're going to stick your ring, your little metal ring that I showed you guys at the beginning of this video, and you're going to want to push that in while the needle is still in there so it can follow the needle and go through and be nice and easy instead of very complicated and hard trying to poke a metal ring through a tiny little hole. So that worked the best for me. Now you're going to just go ahead and attach your charms however you want to, and when you're done, make sure you close the hole. And these are the charms that I attached. This one I'm showing you right now, I actually made this charm for this book, and the other one was a gift to me that I kind of decided to edit a little bit and attach a little ring to it and added some more cuteness. And I want to make them kind of like dream catchers, but I haven't gotten there yet. It's a process, you guys. It's a project. But yeah, after you do that, you are all done. And this is what your book will look like when you are finished. It probably won't look like mine because you're probably going to make your own, right? I hope you make your own, and you should totally show me. But yeah, this was so much fun to make. It took me about a week to make it, but I don't think it will take you so long because you don't have to film the entire process. It'll probably take you about 3 to 5 days. And if you're first starting out and you've never done this before, it will probably take you 5 days. So that's it. You're done.
Yeah, that is how you guys make a book of shadows, and I'm pretty excited about it because this book came out so much better than I thought it would, and it's been such an inspiration for me to keep practicing, and I didn't really realize the importance of having a book of shadows, and now that I do know the importance, I kind of wish that I started one when I first started practicing. I mean, yes, I do have a book of shadows that I made, the first book that I ever made. I do have one, but I didn't really document as much as I really wanted to, if that makes sense. But now I'm so excited to fill these pages. I literally have dedicated and figured out what each page is going to contain, what knowledge I'm putting on each page, so it's very easily broken down, it's all organized, and I don't have to worry about fucking up because I know what I want to put in here. So I'll probably be doing a Book of Shadows tour pretty soon here. If you guys want to see a tour of the inside of my Book of Shadows, then please leave a like on the video, so I know that that's something that you guys want to see, or leave a comment down below, and I'll show you guys what I put inside and kind of why I put it inside, excuse me. I'm super excited to share this with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys make your own books, and if you do, please post on Instagram or post on Twitter and tag me, and all my information to my social media is in the description box down below because I would love to see your guys' book creations. Please, please, please show me, because that would just make my day, and I love seeing people create things, especially books, because it's kind of like my addiction in life. So if you guys do not want to make your own book and you're just here to watch videos, I understand. And if you want your own book, but maybe you're not too inclined to make your own, I do have an Etsy store where I'll be selling my books, and I do sell my books there, called Dragon Fairy Crafts, and if you guys are interested, I will be coming out with the autumn collection pretty soon on my Etsy store. I'm really excited about that, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek in a second, but I am so excited to finally get this video out to you guys, and I really hope that you guys decide to try and make your own Book of Shadows, because it has definitely been a huge, like, it has had such a big impact in my life, and I've really just decided that I want to document my journey, and I want to document the beginning of my journey in this first book here, and I'm sure I'll make more in the future. And I kind of created this book for this new year. As you guys know, Samhain is on its way here, and it's the Witch's New Year, and I celebrate it as the New Year. And I wanted to really wanted to start new, start fresh, to reinitiate myself into my practice, and to reinitiate myself into my craft, into, you know, my spiritual path. And I felt like, you know, making a Book of Shadows, a brand new Book of Shadows for myself that I created, that I manifested for the intention of magical experiences and documenting all of my magical knowledge, I felt like it was appropriate to, you know, create it for this time of year. And throughout the Sabbats of this coming year, I'm going to be writing down my rituals, my spells, my correspondences, all in this book, as well as, you know, many other things. I'm putting witchcraft, knowledge about witchcraft, Wicca, the Draconic path, fairycraft, you know, astrology, you know, the planets, the universe, about my inner realms in here. So it's all about me and my practice basically. So, and I've actually written down every single page. So, yeah, if you guys want to see a flip through, make sure to leave a like or a comment, let me know. So, I'm kind of rambling at this point, but it's only because I'm so excited about this book here. I'm so happy to finally have it in my hands because I've been dreaming of creating this book for quite some time now. So I'm so glad to share it with you guys, and I hope you guys decide to create it too. So if you guys liked this video, please leave a like and a comment telling me why, and share with your friends so you can show them how to make their own Book of Shadows too, or their own journal as well. And I thought it would be fun for the spookiness because, you know, witches, we just have our beautiful grimoires, and I wanted to show you guys how to make a witchy book of magical awesome things. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, let me know. Excuse my rambling in this video, I'm just super excited about this book that I have in my hands because yes, I made this and you can do it too. So I believe in you guys, I believe in you. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. Excuse me, just remember that you guys do have the power to create anything. You have the power to manifest your dreams and your desires. You just have to believe and be grateful for what you have and embody the vibration that you wish to create. So I hope you guys have a great day today, and I love you guys so much. But until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky. Hey hatchlings, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment telling me why, and subscribe to see what I'll post next. And if you love my content, please become a sponsor over at Patreon, because it really helps keep the channel going so I can post awesome videos for you guys. Even if you donate $1, every dollar counts, and your support is greatly appreciated. All the links are down below, but until next time, peace out.